Download the Odyssey app today.
Now, why doesn't this come on?
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. Exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $119 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-711-6818. Discreetly packaged to your door. Been thinking about trying Viagra or Cialis? Call U.S. Pharmacy at 800-711-6818 for as little as only $119 for 90 pills. Need your package in a hurry? Call 800-711-6818. Express shipping option, and we'll rush your order to you as soon as possible. Save money on this little blue or yellow pill you've been wanting to try. Again, 800-711-6818 now. That's 800-711-6818.
WWL First News. I'm Dave Cohen on your official weather station, WWL.
Today looking much drier than yesterday with an isolated shower possible or storm. Temperatures are expected to climb into the middle 90s today. Lots of sunshine, but with the humidity, it is going to get quite dangerous because temperatures will be feeling like 108 to 110 degrees. So just make sure you're staying careful while you're out and about today. And also there will be a heat advisory in effect through the morning and the afternoon hours, expiring at 7 p.m.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan. The New Orleans police say bullets were flying just before 4 a.m. today. 4 people, 900 block of Tulane Avenue. The male victims were shot in the neck, the knee, the elbow, and the hand. 2 more people were shot last night in Gentilly. It happened in the 2200 block of Mendez Street just after 8:30 p.m. NOPD says one victim was a female. They did not know about the other. Both suffered what they describe as graze wounds. A deadly fight inside the Orleans Parish Prison, as we hear from WWL TV's Devin Bartolotta.
The sheriff's office says 4 inmates got into a fight. 3 had to go to the hospital. One of those inmates died because of his injuries. What started that fight? Sheriff Susan Hudson released a statement saying, quote, "I have instructed our Investigative Services Bureau and the Internal Affairs Division to conduct a full investigation and commit to inform our community of their findings."
It's the last day of the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries Free Fishing Weekend, as we hear from WWL's David Grubb.
Biologist Danica Williams says it's the one weekend where a fishing license is not required. And in preparation for the free weekend, Williams says they have stocked 17 ponds across the state with ample catfish to improve your odds when casting a line.
The point there is just to make it so easy, or as easy as possible, for folks to go fishing.
Fishing regulations remain in effect regarding size. Here are restrictions for
The average price for regular gas in New Orleans broke $4.50 a gallon this weekend. Today, AAA says the average set a new record high of $4.52 in the region. Nationally, the average price for regular has now topped $5 for the first time in history. Federal forecasters expect prices to keep climbing until July. Here's Sean Ross with WWL Sports.
Zion Williamson reaffirmed his desire to be in New Orleans long term.
I do want to be here. That's no secret. I feel like I've always stood on that whenever I spoke.
Zion did not play at all last season as he was rehabbing a broken foot. The Pels are expected to offer him the Supermax rookie contract extension, 5 years, $186 million. The team's executive vice president, David Griffin, said on the Ryan Russillo podcast that giving Zion Supermax is an easy decision.
But the Supermax player is a very easy one. It's really going to be about, if you are all the way in with us, this is what it looks like, and we're all the way in with him, and I think we always have been.
Last season, the Pels battled their way into the playoffs, falling to Phoenix in the first round. Sean Ross, WWL Sport.
Lots of clouds and temperatures are expected to climb into the middle 90s, but it's going to feel like the triple digits. The heat advisory will be in effect through much of the day, meaning that it's going to feel like 108 to 110 degrees. So just make sure you are continuing to practice heat safety while you're out and about. Isolated shower and storm possible, as it's going to be a hot and humid week and feels like temperatures will be in the triple digits daily with an isolated shower. From your local Weather Expert Forecast Center, I'm WWL-TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
I'm Dave Cohen, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse, all things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studio, New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hello, good morning. Doug Sunseri with Michelle Demarest Sunseri. All things legal. Give us a call, 260-1870. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. We are actually broadcasting. We're seeing one of our in Birmingham. So we're broadcasting out of a cave in our hotel.
Right, the business center.
The business center.
Which
so
is dark and small.
Dark and small, but it's getting the job done. You need ingenuity in all times of your life.
That's right.
And this was one of them. It's fun being in Birmingham because I love to wear my LSU stuff.
Yeah, you had fun yesterday at Costco.
Yes, because we were. I would do this little standard, I guess, talk to our whoever was, like the cashier, and I was asking about the LSU discount.
I know, and so many people don't understand. You have dad humor.
I have bad dad humor.
You do. The girls are like cringe.
The girls cringe, but it's fair. And then we started talking the LSU Alabama trash talk, not trash, respectful trash talk. Is that a good way of saying it?
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. And Birmingham is not much Auburn.
Right.
A lot of red. And so the only thing I can really tell them right now at this point with the LSU-Alabama rivalry is we gave Alabama Nick Saban as a finished product. That's about the best I can do right.
Quick.
I need some more. I need Coach Kelly to give me something more to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, we were on an upward trajectory with Coach O, and then he just, sort of fell off the cliff. Fizzled out, fell off the cliff, or what have you. So we have, it's just a little tougher. Now, in the lobby, they had Arkansas people who were coming home, and they're playing in the Super Regionals. I think they're up 1-0 in their series. And
These are kids baseball?
No, they were coming back from Disney World, and they stopped, and they were a big group, but they're all excited. They wanted to get home for the Arkansas game.
Oh.
I am still. Now, I haven't grieved yet, because you see what I do when I come to grieve, my method of grieving is I put it in a black box.
Okay.
And then I just put it away. And then it's like, you might find me grieving in about 4 months about LSU. baseball. I'm sorry with my feelings yet.
Oh, Lord.
But how disappointing it was they didn't get past Southern Miss. They were up, they were up two, they just need to beat them once. And starting pitching and defense was been the entire year. And when you come to this time of, regionals and super regionals, the difference between winning and losing is so thin that all your flaws come out.
Right. Yeah, they shine. Your flaws shine.
And so in the pressure's there, you just defense and we as far as like the catcher, I think he's had a pass ball, every game. He's a good catcher, but the defense, like for the second Southern Miss game,
right?
Dave could have won both those games, and a lot if a lot of defenses would have made those plays and gotten 3 outs. And the pitchers, unfortunately, had to have 4, 5, 6 outs in some innings, and a lot of cheap runs. And just wasn't meant to be.
They were exciting games, though.
They were great. I mean, they showed a lot of heart, a lot of spunk, It was a nice run, but we need some starting pitchers. We probably need to shore up our defense, and I might set aside a day and a couple of weeks to grieve it and get it out of me.
Just let me know when that is.
Okay, I'll do it. Perfect. And we're lawyers, right?
Right.
Well, I'll also speak for me. I've been doing it for 33 years.
Okay.
And I'm going to tie this to the Saints.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you what we're going to talk about before.
No, I had no idea.
Because if I tell you, you'll be more scripted.
Okay.
But so I do. So a lot of this would I throw at you.
And I can't even read your handwriting on your notes. So
no, you can't. You can't do that.
What was that just turned on?
That's the air condition. They air condition this cave. Get closer to the mic on this one. So one of the concepts I've learned in practicing law was often the deal that you don't make is the best deal you can make.
Okay.
Now, the Saints were hot and heavy off of Deshaun Watson. They were about to give up 3 first-round picks and another 3 or 4 picks in the first 3 rounds, maybe 6 or 7 draft picks.
Right. Yeah, I heard.
They were about to pay him a total of $250 million, $230, which, let me give you that perspective. When John Meekum sold the Saints to Tom Benson, it was $74 million.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. And the deal wasn't made. Thank God. I mean, since this deal was made, Watson and the Cleveland Browns and Dallas Texans have been a total train wreck. They have 66 women who have come forward. Now, a lot of times when you do these, like I'm going to say sexual issues in the legal industry, one of the first things you do is most of individuals who have this issue, it's repetitive. They've done it before. There's a long line, for like, let's say sexual harassment. There's a long line of young ladies or ladies who have of that behavior.
Okay.
And if, more serious, such as, the things, maybe,
So you're saying you usually don't find somebody on the first take?
Well, what I'm saying is when somebody gets accused of that, one of the first things you do to find out if there's a history of it.
Right.
Then it's a lot more suspect, or it's a lot more scrutiny. But when you have 66 other women, it's not like you can say 30 of them are lying.
Right.
I mean,
66 is a lot.
66 is a lot, and I think for Gail Benson, being one of the few female owners, I think it would have been an absolute nightmare for her to deal with that, to look him straight in the eye, especially given her background. She's a very strong Catholic, she's got a very great sense of civic responsibility. She's got a high sense of morality that is out of her.
Right.
And to have had a quarterback who it's not like he was a 7th round pick who acted way, who you committed $200 million to. And to look them in the eye and say, this is who I just committed $200 million to. So I guess, and I've learned this as an attorney, the best deal that you can make often isn't the deal that you make.
Right.
Did I say that right?
I don't think so.
I said, well, the best deal you can make is the deal you don't make. Right. And so I think that was very, very fortunate for the Saints and it would have set back our franchise. And I made a prediction.
So is he staying where he is?
He's at Cleveland.
He's in Cleveland.
I made a prediction, I think 6-7 years ago, that when Cleveland picked Johnny Manziel, I said everybody who's involved in that will be fired. No reason, given the psychological and emotional instability of Johnny Manziel at that time, that he should have been picked as high as he was by the Cleveland Browns. And if they roll the tape, which would have been 6 or 7 years ago, I would have said everybody who was involved in that would be fired, which they are long gone. And the Cleveland Browns have basically been a train wreck since then, for the most part. Even when they have a little talent, they're still a train wreck.
When did they take on Deshaun Watson?
They took him on about 3 months ago when he was free. He wanted to get out of Texas, and there was a few teams. There was Carolina, Atlanta, Saints, and actually came on toward the end. But it's just I'm glad we're not going into training camp because we're about, we're about 6 weeks from training camp, 7 weeks from training camp. And we're also, but who's counting? I think we're 93 days from LSU. Florida State. We're going to have that shower on the day of the LSU Florida State game. We're going to move that.
Is that Labor Day weekend?
Yes. Are we going to? It's because they playing Saturday.
I think we said we were going to move it to Sunday.
Oh, praise God! Oh, geez.
Because it's Labor Day weekend, so Monday's off.
I tell you what, and I like showers too, but I'll do it. But if I had, we're going to play games or something at the shower?
No, it's just going to be a cocktail party. It's going to have baby stuff.
But I mean, I think if I was like sitting in a circle, oohing and ahhing
nobody's going to be doing that.
Oohing and ahhing over baby gifts.
Nobody's.
Or in an LSU game, I think I would just.
They're going to appease you. You think it's going to be Sunday? I think. Okay. I'm not throwing it, so we're just hosting it.
Okay, well, maybe we close on Saturday, our house. Tell them we're closed, so they'll have to do it on Sunday. Because there's no football games on that Sunday.
Okay.
So, all right, I'm just LSU Florida State, which would be very. And
I'm assuming they're playing at Florida State.
No, they're playing Superdome. Oh. It's like a neutral game.
Are we going?
Yeah, we're going to go.
Oh, okay.
Provided we don't have to ooh and ah over baby gifts.
Oh, yeah, we're going.
So, yeah, we're going to go. I guess we could do. Yeah, we're going to go.
Okay.
So that's coming up. I think that's a big wild card. I mean, we don't know who the quarterback is. We really don't know a lot.
Of LSU?
LSU.
Yeah.
We don't
kind of kept it close, haven't they?
Coach Kelly is very business-like, very.
So somebody this year, but next year is going to be.
I think we're going to be up and down.
But what about next year? That's somebody I can't remember who told me that.
I think we're going to be up and down. The biggest thing is what we do with our quarterbacks. I'd like to keep Nussmeier. I think he's our long-term answer. I don't think he's ready. I think they might.
What year is he?
He's going to be he redshirted, so he'll be a freshman again.
Oh, okay.
And then so we'll see. I think they'll be like 8-4. We'll win a couple of games they're supposed to and lose a couple of games they're not. But we're a law show. We're going to get to that. Okay. We got a few other things I want to talk about. Sports and law.
Okay.
But let's go to a break. This is Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. Call us at 260-1870. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
Lots of debate right now about what conservatives stand for. To me, it's simple. Family.
Okay, we do have a caller checking in.
Stands on the principles our nation was built on. But I've never hesitated to reach across the aisle for the good of our community. I've said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it again.
Who's on the
phone?
phone?
Politics are local.
Justin.
Oh, Justin's on the phone.
A safe place to live.
Justin.
Leaders Lead. Noel Norman. Weekdays on WWL.
Is your Hurricane Ida insurance company still playing games with you or giving you the runaround? Are you still dealing with multiple adjusters, unreturned phone calls, duplicate requests for information, and chronic underpayment, even non-payment? Are you emotionally exhausted? We can help. Call me, Doug Sunseri, radio host and attorney at Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm in Metairie and Mandeville at 504-837-1304. After so many years of you paying insurance premiums, we'll make sure your insurance company pays up.
Food so good you just can't stop thinking about it. Imagine perfectly grilled ahi-mas barbecue shrimp. Get your Lake Villa tuna today, only at Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. Food so good you just can't stop thinking about it. Imagine shrimp, crawfish tails, bell peppers, and onions in a creamy Alfredo sauce. It's Bobby and Deke's Mardi Gras pasta, only Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant.
Right now at Diamonds Direct, whether you buy a $3,000 diamond pendant or a $30,000 designer ring, you can spread your payments over 5 years without paying any interest. Pick any item, get the incredible price Diamonds Direct is known for, and spread your payments over 5 years all month long. Don't miss this amazing offer. Just in time to plan the perfect proposal. 5 years, 0 interest. Get details, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com. Unapproved credit.
Do you have a secret, jewels, precious metals, stock, cash, paintings, or guns that you'd like to store secretly and securely, and only you have access? Other than the Swiss banks, there's only one place, the Security Center at Carondelet and Common in New Orleans, 522-1254.
Looking for the perfect gift of jewelry that will always remind her of you? Oakland Heart has a huge selection of fine Swiss timepieces, plus elitist collections from David Yurman, Penny Mikimoto Pearls, and Marco Bichigo. Shop Road.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Okay, we go live after this one.
In another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you'll be speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México, hablamos español.
Gracias, Babbel.
Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. BA.com.
All things legal on WWL-AMFM.com and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-187.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, all things legal. Let's go to the phone lines with Justin, who is the designated beneficiary of the Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm Trust, which has.
Oh, that is so.
Right. Well, I don't know whether you will like it if you know how much is in this trust. It's like maybe.
Yeah. Wait. Well, I really don't know how much I've got, but I don't have enough to give you anything.
Right. The beneficiary is the person who gets the stuff out of the trust. They call it.
That's
the
correct.
corpus.
And I've been dealing with my trust lately a lot. A lot of trust.
And the corpus the corpus at this point is a half bottle of bourbon that is just left over. That is.
Now, Doug, slow down. First of all, I don't drink hard liquor. The only thing I drink is Cabernet Sauvignon.
Well, then if you
a half a bottle of that.
Then if you reject the corpus, it goes back to the settlers, which are Nicaud and Sunseri, which Albert will take care of that half bottle in about 5 minutes.
That's why probably Albert's not on the air because he's sleeping off something.
No. I like the kid. He just likes to have a good time.
Well, I know that, but tell us, first of all, good morning to you, Michelle and Doug.
Good morning.
Now, I didn't have a legal question, but I have a lawyer question.
Okay.
And this involves my father.
Mm-hmm.
Now, first of all, I'm very disappointed LSU baseball's over. Very disappointed.
Oh, man. Maybe we can grieve together in a couple of weeks in my black box, and I hadn't gotten in touch with my disappointment with this. So maybe I'll go see some counseling or something.
So close. It was so close.
I know.
Here's my lawyer question. My dad, Jack Marcel, cowboy hat wearing guy, go to work he'd leave the house at 5 a.m, and I'd go to school and whatever. And at night, I wake up and the study room light was on. And I'd open the door, and he was sitting there writing briefs at 10 o'clock at night.
Yes.
Did you have those long hours? I mean, my dad loved the law so much he could not sleep without doing something about it.
What did your dad say about it?
I'm so proud of my dad.
My dad used to say the law is a jealous mistress.
I didn't want to say that because I didn't want ladies to get mad at me.
Yeah. So same thing. He'd wake up at about 4. He'd start working at about 5, and he would work, into the night. When we were new lawyers in his firm, we worked 6 days a week.
Oh my God! My dad worked 7 days, 365.
I mean,
now we did. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, sometimes we do. If we have trials and stuff,
Well,
we'll
we
work.
pull
I mean, I pulled an 18-hour last Monday. But you know, sometimes you do, and sometimes
18 hours.
This was crazy. We just gotten back from vacation. I had trials. I had stuff to get done. It was.
Well, my dad did take some time like a workaholic. We went to Europe for like 2 weeks. But I'm telling you, on his mind was his clients and his work all the time. And I'm thinking, you know, that's why I don't want to be a lawyer. I don't want to be obsessed with the thing.
Well, I'll tell you one thing your dad didn't have to deal with, what we have to deal with now is cell phones.
Yeah.
Because at least when your dad was home and they didn't know the home number, you know, you had some plausible reason not to, you know, to communicate.
Yeah, when I first started practicing, the rule was 24 hours to contact a client. You know, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't even really have emails. Now it's, you know, if you don't respond to a client, we're there.
And I'm not complaining.
No, I'm not complaining
We're
at
not
all.
complaining, but like we've been on vacation. I've got 6 messages from clients, and it's not. I'm not complaining, but I'll deal with it Monday. But you know, I could see, and I had trouble when I was first starting, and you know needed to build the business. I was always scared not to return calls like immediately, you know, on a weekend or something. But now, you know, so people just ought to know, don't call me unless it's a real emergency. But you know, a lot of people still call, but it's okay. It's one thing that's different with your dad.
Well, let me interject. Let me interject with that. My dad, first of all, was one of the first people that had a car phone way back when. First car phones. And I said, "What is this for?" He said, "Well, my clients might call me." So my dad made himself available to his client. Now, we never get a phone call at 3 a.m. Never got that. But my dad was so involved in law. He loved it. And I was very proud of him because he was good at it.
He was.
I just wanted to share that with y'all.
Yes. Well, no, he was. Like I've said many times, he was larger than life. He just had a persona around him. And I liked the fact that when he would walk, because he used to walk in front of the office I used to work at to federal court, because he was
right
next
block. Door. I remember that, yeah.
And then I like the fact that he had a bunch of people carrying his stuff too.
See, that tells you how much paperwork he filled out.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy worked for hours. I mean, I remember one time, I'll get on the phone after this. Yeah. I remember one time I had to go to the bathroom. It was like, I was a kid. And it was 11 o'clock, and I saw the light on in the study. And I said, "What's going on?" So I opened the door, up, writing briefs. And I said, "Dad, you love your job, don't you?" He said, "You're damn right I do."
Yeah, it's you know, I tell people, like, you know, like in a different context, but you hear about the Saints preparing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and all, you know, all the coaches and the players talking about getting ready for it. And I sort of say tongue in cheek, we got 40 games going on this week, not just one, that we have to prepare for, fight, and advocate. So if you like to compete, which your dad obviously liked to do, and you like to win, you like the thrill of victory and you agony of defeat, and you like that type of, I guess, work situation.
Yeah.
You know, this is probably the right profession. Now, if you like to be liked, this is probably not the best profession.
No, if you like confrontation, it's not the right one.
Because for everyone to like you, I would say this is probably, or litigation at least. There's other aspects of, you know, being a lawyer, you know, real estate lawyer, or you know, in an in-house counsel where, you know, you could have a little more, you know, you could be liked. But you know, at some point, you know, when I was a young, I would, you know, I'd go to a Saints game and I'd see somebody give me the number 1 sign, and I'm like, oh, had them in a case. They're still mad at me, you know.
Was that the middle finger? Was it the
middle
finger?
I didn't say that. It was just a.
It was just a finger.
It was a finger that was ended up, and there was only one of them. I think, oh, I forgot about that case, you know. So.
Well, look, and let me let you go. Look, y'all have a beautiful weekend. Thanks for talking to me.
Justin.
And I dedicate this call to my dad, who I miss very much.
Yes. The legal profession does too. All right, man, Justin.
Have a great day.
All right, talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. All right, I'll tell you what, let's do a break. Doug back in the studio in New Orleans, and we'll be right back.
on all things legal right after this brief time out.
If you love the Newell Norman Show and want to hear more of yours.
Oh, incidentally, the Tigers versus Florida State Seminoles, Sunday, September 4th.
Across the U.S. about politics, crime, law and order, and more. Rounded up in an assortment of the tastiest bits of conservative talk. Red Meat Roundup, WWL.com, or wherever you get your podcasts.
The NBA Finals are here, and so is your chance to score big on FanDuel Sportsbook. Throughout the NBA Finals, FanDuel is giving new customers $200 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Bet the money line, point spreads, player props, and so much more. Plus, you can combine your bets for an even bigger payout with a same-game parlay. Maybe game one winner, which player will hit the most three-pointers? Just sign up with promo code GARIC. That's G-A-R-I-C. If you haven't tried FanDuel, now is the perfect time to give it a shot. Because the only thing sweeter than watching the finals is cashing in on all the action. Join today and turn a $5 bet into $200 in free bets, win or lose. Make every game feel like Game 7 with the FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel, official partner of the NBA and also of WWL Radio.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a late Sunday afternoon, you were in the homemade taste of Bluebell, and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Our original gold-rimmed homemade vanilla. The country's gold standard of ice cream flavors. Its hand-cranked taste takes you back to simpler times. That's why we put the word home right on the carton.
The good old days.
Okay, the last spot in the set is going to be Big Lou. He's going to discuss porkiness, and we'll have one short one after that.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at Walmart Supercenters and neighborhood markets. Celebrating a century of broadcasting. For 100 years, WWL Radio has been here for you when it matters most. Here's another moment in history.
It was June of 1944.
The eyes of the world are upon you.
D-Day, as Allied forces landed on the beaches of Normandy, France, to begin the offensive that would end World War II. Allied Commander Dwight Eisenhower gave a pep talk to the troops.
You are about to embark upon the Great Crusade in these many months.
CBS News correspondent Charles Collingworth was among those who came ashore.
There are pillars of smoke rising from enemy shelling.
The amphibious Higgins boats built in New Orleans considered crucial to Allied success on D-Day.
This moment in history brought to you by Acme Oyster House and StormDamageCompensation.com.
Protect what matters most with ABC Fire and Burglar Alarm. Security systems, monitoring, automation, and cameras for your home or business. Stay secure and connected at an affordable price. Call ABC today, 889-9.
Rejuvenate your nights with Rejuvame. RejuvameMedical.com.
Relief Windows, locally owned and operated. ReliefWindows.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider help thousands of people like you who think they can't earn. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-859-3220. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life, call 800-859-3220.
We're all on this planet together.
Okay, here we go.
So join
And
Odyssey
the
and find your one
Florida
thing. Cut up
Florida
six-pack
State
rings and
LSU game
reduce your
is
diesel
on
price.
Sunday night.
To help keep it out of our
it's on
waterways and
Sunday.
oceans. Together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinion shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nicaud and Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri. All Things Legal. Okay, I had it wrong. The LSU Florida State game's on Sunday. And I was just complaining about having a shower on Saturday.
And you're going to be eating crow.
No, we're going to have the shower on Saturday. Oh. Yeah, we're doing. Text them now. So we're going to LSU game. We could stay down there that weekend if we wanted to.
Sunday night.
Sunday night.
Yeah.
So we. So
we
the
will
LSU,
have a bunch of people at our house. It will not be empty.
That's true. That's true. So well, maybe not. But we're going to have the shower on Saturday. Oh, I just really messed myself up there.
Yeah.
So it's on Sunday. I must LSU. People making plans now based on what I said was Saturday night. It's Sunday night. Thank you, Doug, from the studio. And that was, Big Lou was that last commercial again.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him in a Caddyshack.
I know you said that last week.
Again, I was getting lunch,
I was on. Mm-hmm.
and he saw down because he's so scared of you. He's afraid that number 2 is not happy and he's going to go to you again, and you're going to wipe him out twice. Big Lou. That's why he's working so hard. All right. Now, we've been talking about hurricanes for the last 9 months. Some people want to hear more. We'll talk a little bit about where we are now, doing a lot of mediations, filing a lot of lawsuits, taking in a lot of claims, and a lot of people are at a second wave of people throwing their hands up saying not being engaged by the insurance company. But I wanted a phenomenon in family law, which is very interesting. And it's pretty much a little bit more since COVID.
A lot
COVID is that you have a lot of non-parents seeking custody of their grandchildren's
it's not only grandparents. I think typically maybe I have 1 or 2 non-parent custody cases per year. I think I have 5 pending right now, which is always interesting. And they're not always, the majority of them are grandparents. Some of them are great aunts. And they're tougher cases, but they're always interesting cases. And, and the law provides that if a non-parent can prove substantial harm can come to a child, if either of the parents get sole custody, then that third party can, or that third person who's had a child.
What are some of the scenarios that you would have a non-parent seeking custody in connection with the natural parents? I mean, where are the natural parents in those situations?
One of them that I have going is we had a great aunt who's seeking, she's seeking custody of 6 of the kids. 2 of the fathers have not been in the children's life, and the mother has been in and out, on drugs, on heroin. So in those kind of situations.
Yeah.
And the kids have been living with her for a while.
And a lot of times one of the parents may be deceased.
Yeah. And that brings a whole nother burden of proof, and that gets you kind of in a different scenario. But yeah, that happens as well too.
Well, what is generally happening in these families where you have a non-parent?
Sometimes it's been drugs, like recently, for the parents, or mental instability of the parents, or incarceration of one of the parents, and then the parent who's not incarcerated either being deceased or being mentally ill or on drugs.
Okay, let me ask you about this scenario. You have grandma and uncle who have maybe raised the child, and then they even obtained an order saying, yes, we're the guardians. And then maybe a few years later, the natural parent wants to come back and resume their parental duties. How does the court deal with that?
Because, the parent always has the higher rights. The court looks at, but you also have to look at the relationship between the child and the non-parent that's been raising them. But you always are on the losing side of the case, so to speak, if you are that parent has rehabilitated themselves and can provide, a stable environment. And if they haven't seen them, sometimes you have to do reunification therapy. But chances are, at least in our courts, they will get custody of them. I don't tell you the same time.
And a lot of these are very, very fact specific.
Very fact specific.
Now, as far as I guess a lot of grandparents today seem to be the primary caretakers, or I must say, more than in the past.
Right.
Be the caretakers of.
Yeah,
children.
we have grandparents who are caretakers, but not or.
I'm saying, or responsible for raising the child.
Oh, yeah, we do have that. We do have that.
And it seems like that trend's been growing as the year, in the last 5 or 10 years.
Especially with the amount of the drugs and with the marijuana laced with fentanyl. That's what we're kind of seeing is just the drugs that are affecting the young parents. And that's a shame.
And we're maybe going to deviate a little bit, but I suspect there was always maybe recreational use of marijuana for young parents, maybe for the last 20 or 30 years. But something seems a little different now with the fentanyl.
Yeah, I had read that that the marijuana, of the 70s and the 80s, even the 90s, is not the marijuana that's out there today. And it's not just the recreational; it's laced with stuff. It's stronger, and it's leading to more mental illness. It's leading to more different types of. And I don't know. I'm just a lawyer. I'm just telling you what I've seen in my cases.
What we're saying is anecdotal. We're not saying it by studies.
No.
But I think and so people can use scientific studies to disagree or what have you. We're just saying from our perspective that a lot of times you do have situations where, especially in family law, where one of the issues is one of the parents uses marijuana recreationally.
Well, and what we're seeing now is this whole medical marijuana card and how you're getting it, because people are getting it without ever seeing the doctor and placing a phone call, have a prescription for it. So, but is it really warranted from a medical perspective? And are they then self-medicating? And do our courts really look at it as a prescribed medication?
Right, and also too, you could get the prescription but still buy the marijuana off the streets.
Well, yeah, I guess I don't know where they're buying it, but it's still you're still high raising kids.
Right. And I think I think one of the points we wanted to sort of drive is that it is definitely recreational users. This is anecdotal that we see. The marijuana seems to be grabbing them harder because of the new issues regarding fentanyl and it being laced and causing a lot more complications.
And the synthetic marijuana.
Yes.
And I don't really know that much about it, but some of our cases.
So that now, how do the courts evaluate these situations when you have maybe a dispute between the non-parent and the parent who is somehow compromised? What do they look at, and what are some of the factors?
I have one right now where we're waiting to see whether we're going to get, substance abuse evaluations, whether we're going to do psychological evaluations, to let the experts come in and see, we're having issues of substance abuse and mental instability.
Now the courts use experts to help them guide this. Now, there's a very pragmatic issue. It's the cost of these experts.
Right.
I guess
sometimes they'll make the party split it. Sometimes they'll assess it against the party who has the alleged issue. and sometimes if the party can't afford it, then that's when the case kind of gets stuck. And if you have a temporary order where your non-parent has temporary custody of the child pending an evaluation, and the evaluation never gets had, then you're kind of like in limbo, and your client remains the custodial, evaluation takes.
Now, a lot of grandparents may have profound disagreements on how their grandchildren are being raised. What is the threshold between when a grandparent can come in and maybe step in for the parents versus the way they're raising them? They don't let me see the child. They don't let me, what is the threshold that the court looks at to say, no, we need the grandparents in there?
You mean if the parents are together?
Or, well, let's say, okay, let's start with that. Is there a scenario when the parents are together?
You have ordinary circumstances if the parents are together. And I wouldn't take a case like that. There is a statute, but it has to be, extraordinary circumstances that's tough.
Like they're in immediate danger at all times. Okay, what about if the parents aren't together?
Well, it just depends. There's different. We're never married. There's you can come in. You can get visitation. You can't get custody.
Right.
The only time you get custody is if you can prove that substantial harm will come to the child. But there's times when you can get, if you can show, it just depends. Like if you have a parent, then that parent can prove, can prove best interest that they've had a relationship with the child. They don't have to prove extraordinary circumstances.
Okay. All right, we're going to go to a break. I'm going to have one more question for you on grandparents' rights, which is happening more and more. To take us through the rest of the hour. And so we'll take a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
The NBA Finals are here. Unlock from the BetQL.
Okay, we do have a caller. We have Elwin from New Orleans, and
game recaps,
it has to do with something around a domicile.
Unlock the best bets for each game with BetQL Daily, and you better you bet. And get live reactions to the biggest finals moments with BetMGM tonight. Listen on the Odyssey and on demand on Twitch.
Security is knowing that your payment was processed, your check deposited, your business handled. At Home Bank, we offer the technology you need to have peace of mind wherever you are. So go on, roam, wander. You have the freedom. With Home Bank's mobile app, you'll never have to wonder what's happening with your money. We have the tech you expect and the service you deserve. For over 114 years, we've been good for business, good for life. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Many have tried, but guess what? There's no better way to say I love you than earrings from Aucoin Hart Jewelers. Let me read you this online review from Kristen. Ahem. I purchased an absolutely beautiful pair of diamond stud earrings today at Aucoin Hart. They treated me like a superstar. The thing is, the diamond stud earrings that come in a box from Aucoin Hart, they're each a true work of art. A family member personally searches through hundreds of diamonds and chooses only those with the most fire and brilliance. Don't think for a minute that all diamonds are alike.
Okay, you should have a shade over 6 minutes.
You don't need a loop to
Till
see
the
the
top of the hour news
Plus,
break.
we buy direct, so we bring you the best for less. And no matter
We have
how much
Elwin
you
on the
spend,
phone
we
if
have
you
the
want
studs to choose from in every price range, second to none. For birthdays, anniversaries, or just because. Come see us at Aucoin Hart Jewelers on Metairie Road.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish, so we downloaded Babbel and
Want to get conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you'll be speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español. Gracias, Babbel. Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. Just go to babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
All things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud and Odyssey Station. Connect now on the Aucoin Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. We're sort of talking about a phenomenon that's occurred more, non-parent seeking visitation over their family members or grandchildren. I've received a couple of calls from grandparents who might have whose children may have children. They have grandchildren, and their children may have, and they had a sustained relationship with them, and then due to circumstances, maybe personal disagreements, maybe for other reasons, that all of a sudden they say, you can't see your grandchild anymore. Are there remedies under the law under those situations? Which situations sort of provide a remedy and which situations probably don't?
If the parents are married and they're not separated, and they're married and not just cohabitating, but they're married, then the grandparents don't have a right. Okay. But if one of the parents is incarcerated, or if they are deceased, or if they've been interdicted, then they do, and it goes under one statute. The other one is if the parents have never been married or cohabitating as if married, or if they're separated for more than. But if you're an intact family who are married and raising your children, and the grandparents can't come in because you have a constitutional right to raise your kids as you need to.
Now, when the court looks at a situation where you have a non-parent seeking custody, what is the standard? What's the standard, and what factors are subsections of that standard?
With grandparents, it's best interest. But let's say you are a sibling or a different relative, then you have to prove extraordinary circumstances and then interest. Okay. So it's kind of a two-tier.
And my question there is, what do they look at? I mean, like, do they look at school? Do they look at, what are the factors that encompass that?
Well, when they're looking at it, first they have to view it in terms of, the parent's constitutional right to privacy to raise their children as they want to, the relationship between the grandparent and the child. What kind of benefit would the child get by having the grandparent interact in their life? If the child's old enough, like, what is their preference? Health and physical, overall health, physical and mental, standing of all the parties. That's kind of what they look at.
Now, do they look at factors as far as geography, school? How did that come into play?
Well, the best interest, those are the best interest factors too. So they would look at those too. But it's just taste.
Right.
It might be one weekend every every quarter.
Well, okay. What about if that non-parent wants to seek custody, or like lack of a better word, like a guardianship over them because they're.
Well, if it's custody, then your parent will come to the child if the other parents are granted custody, and then it's just so you have to. That's a higher burden. It's almost like a clear and convincing burden of proof. And then once you overcome that burden, then you're looking at the best interest, and you're looking at the relationship. What is the relationship between the non-parent to provide a stable, environment? Have they raised them? So there's, mm-hmm. and then you can also look at the best interest factors.
Gotcha. Would now, in those kind of claims are also in the family court. Correct. Per se.
Yes, so they're in the family, like in St. Tammany, they're in the family law division. In Jefferson, they go to all the divisions, but they go to the commissioner and in the hearing officer conferences.
And I guess I guess, some of the trends regarding grandparents' rights. What are just go over a couple other situations that you've seen where a non-party non-parent sought custody. You had like
I've had some step parent who has raised a stepchild and they get divorced, is looking to continue a relationship, so wants visitation of a stepchild. We've done that. Those are hard because you have to prove extraordinary circumstances. And again, you're looking at the parents raise their child and to dictate, who comes in and out of their child's life. But I'll tell you really what we've been seeing, and I had a conversation with a lawyer who practices in St. Tammany Parish. What we've been seeing lately is since COVID and since lifted is we seem to have gone back to everybody wants to litigate. We had gone through periods of heavy litigation. Then we had gotten to where people were more apt to want to resolve issues. We were mediating. We were able to bring parties to resolution. We were able to use parental, arbitration. And now it's like people are wanting to litigate again. People are angry and they just seem to want to fight.
Saw more of the War of the Roses.
That's what we're seeing.
And that is probably a lot. Just a higher level of anger.
Higher level of anger, higher level of discord, people are just it's almost like they want their day in court because they want somebody to hear how angry they are.
And how wrong.
How wrong.
Well,
yeah, I know.
If you're looking for fairness in the family,
I know you're not.
And I'm not saying it's because of judges. It's just because if you have these judges have 10 to 15,000 open cases.
Well, and what's your definition of fairness? That's
right,
it.
Right. Fairness is what I want.
Right.
Yeah. What I want. What my
everybody's definition.
There you go. All right, it's hour number 1. I'm listening to Ken. We'll be back for hour number 2 and all things legal. Stay tuned. Jackson.
The News Talk Sports Leader, WWL New Orleans, WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, and Odyssey Station.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Stacey Lynn in Washington. Emotions ran high in D.C. yesterday as thousands gathered for the March for Our Lives protest against gun violence. Garnell Whitfield Jr.'s mother, Ruth, was killed in the Buffalo grocery store shooting.
We thank you for your prayers, but prayer is not a noun. It requires action. You pray and then you get up and then you walk.
Hundreds of other rallies took place all across the country. At the Texas state capitol,
family members of the victims of the Uvalde school shooting among those in attendance at the March for Our Lives, the father of Jackie Zaris. They want universal background checks, red flag laws, and to raise the age to buy a rifle in Texas to 21. Chris Fox for CBS News, Austin.
It's been 6 years since the Pulse nightclub shootings that left 49 people dead and 53 wounded. Barbara Palma is the Pulse nightclub Owen Pulse Foundation.
To learn a little bit about yourself and see if you are someone who might be othering people, and maybe find a way to let people belong to your circle and welcome people in, and see if we can stop this cycle of hate.
This is Pride Month, but some local laws are being criticized for targeting LGBTQ young people. Here's CBS's Alice.
Trevor Project points at a series of laws, including some blocking transgender women and girls from playing on female sports teams, to others keeping transgender children from getting gender-affirming medical treatment.
Hostile bills are having a significant effect on the mental health of our young people.
Pick says among the ways parents and care who young people can show support is being welcoming to their friends and partners and using their names and pronouns correctly.
Some scorching temps for a chunk of the country, from central California to the southern plains. So when will it cool off a bit? Meteorologist Reynolds Wolf.
Into Monday and Tuesday, getting very intense in terms of record heat. Gulf Coast moving into the Great Lakes, and yes, even to the east.
Temps tipping over 100 in some spots. Near an Idaho Pride event yesterday, 31 masked men in riot gear were arrested. Police Chief Lee White.
Based on the gear that the individuals had with them,
in the U-Haul with them, along with paperwork that was seized to riot downtown.
The men were packed into the back of a U-Haul truck. They were apparently members of a white supremacist group. Some of the new McDonald's will open today in Moscow. Another 200 across the country will open later this month. The new name, Vkusna Tashka, which translates to delicious full stop. The logo, a small red circle and 2 orange lines to look like a burger and fries. This is CBS News.
Get CBS News Radio on the Odyssey app. All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. News, music, sports, and podcasts. Download the Odyssey app today.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something or something that saves you money. But if you can get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare. And that's MediShare. You get both. The typical family saves $500 a month switching to MediShare. And that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch too. The customer satisfaction double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. It's because MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge PPO network. So yeah, really, you could save a ton and make it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking. If you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number you need. Call 866-88-BIBLE. That's 866-88-BIBLE. 866-88-BIBLE.
The 4 majors in golf.
WWL First News. I'm Dave Cohen on your official weather station, WWL.
Clouds will continue to clear on out, leaving us with lots of sunshine. Today it is going to be a hot day with daytime highs climbing into the middle 90s, and with the high humidity, it is going to easily feel like 108 to 110 degrees, which is pretty dangerous. So just make sure you're being very careful if you're planning on being outside. And also there's a heat advisory in effect through 7 p.m. this evening, meaning just use caution while you're outside. An isolated shower and storm possible, but many spots remaining dry.
Your local weather expert, WWL TV, Morgan. More violence in New Orleans. 6 people were shot from last night until this morning. 4 were wounded on Tulane Avenue, a few blocks from Carrollton. 2 more were injured in a shooting in Gentilly. WWL TV's Mike McDaniel reports OPD has announced an arrest in the deadly shooting last month.
18-year-old Brandon Rock is now charged with manslaughter for his role in the shooting that left an 80-year-old grandmother dead. This all happened May 31st on Xavier's campus during Morse Jeff High School's graduation. Augustine Greenwood had just watched her grandson graduate and was leaving when she was shot. 2 other people were also hurt. Police say an argument between 2 female students escalated between their families, and that's when shots were fired. Police are still looking for 3 other people involved.
Gas prices in New Orleans have broken the $4.50 mark. The average gallon of regular in the region is now $4.52, according to AAA, expected the rest of the month. The Pride Parade returned to the streets of New Orleans last night, as we hear from WWL TV's Devin Bartolotta.
10 floats and several groups took to the streets, and big crowds decked out in rainbow outfits. The parade took a much shorter year. It started at Decatur and Elysian Fields and made its way to Bourbon and St. Anne.
I can be who I want to be. If I want to wear pink and orange, if I want to wear rainbow, if I want to wear glitter, I'm going to be who I want to be.
And in the true words, do what you want. Body positivity, love is love.
Here's Sean Ross. Sports.
No doubt the Saints' new faces are getting a lot of attention at OTA so far, with additions in hometown talent Jarvis Landry and Tyrann Mathieu, and first-round draft picks Chris Olave and Trevor Penning. But WWL's pro and college football analyst Mike Detillier says it's the O-line is where his focus is at.
What happens up front? That, to me, was a big part of the unraveling at times last year. Okay, you didn't have Ramczyk. Armstead missed time. Pete missed a tremendous amount of time. McCoy didn't play as good as he had played the year before. And Cesar Ruiz didn't play good long. So I think, for me, the key to this season is what happens up front.
Minicamp for the Black and Gold starts on Tuesday. Sean Ross, WWL Sport.
Andrew Garcia roofing forecast.
Daytime highs are expected to climb into the middle 90s. Humidity, it is going to feel like 108 to 110 degrees in many spots. In fact, there's a heat advisory that'll be in effect through much of the day, expiring at 7 p.m. So just make sure you're being careful while you're out and about, drinking plenty of water,
Here we go.
taking frequent breaks if you're working outside, an isolated shower. In the work week, we're looking at a hot and humid week. On Monday, temperatures in the mid-90s, lots of sunshine. From your local Weather Expert Forecast Center, I'm WWL-TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
I'm Dave Cohen, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nicaud. Underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
And we do have Elwin home.
On the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Fed
win.
In the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nicaud and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. Just call 260-1870 or text us on the Oakland Heart Talk and Text line. Text, that is my Bucktown accent, could that be? Or my lack of diction?
Probably your lack of diction.
Lack of diction,
Yeah.
which I learned in...
I would listen, people from Bucktown might be able to say, text us.
Text. Okay. Well, I have you here to correct me. Now, I've been talking to my Bucktown friends.
Okay.
And there's a question as to whether where I grew up is considered Bucktown or not.
Yeah, I think you're a Bucktown wannabe.
No, it's not. They said it's the demarcation. Bonneville and the 17th Street Canal is Bucktown proper.
But you're on the other side of Bonneville.
Okay, listen. Well, just hear me out. I've had other Bucktown residents said the demarcation is Homestead and to the 17th Street, because Homestead was the demarcation. If you were on the New Orleans side of Homestead, you went to St. Louis, King of France, for grammar school, and if you were on the west side of Homestead, you went to St. Angelo.
Does Homestead run perpendicular or parallel to Bonneville?
It's parallel to Bonneville. There's 5 streets toward New Orleans.
Okay.
So, and then the question is between Bonneville and Causeway. And so, in order to keep everybody happy,
I thought Louis King of France were in Bucktown and the other ones were not.
Well, that's Homestead.
But you didn't go to St.
No, I didn't. But most of my friends were from St. Louis.
It doesn't matter. You didn't live there.
Well, I've got a solution. Okay.
What, you're going to annex your?
No. I have a solution. Just so everybody's happy, because you can't offend anybody anymore these days. Is I grew up in a suburb of Bucktown. So that covers all bases.
It covers all bases.
So a suburb of Bucktown, adjacent to the West Esplanade
But what's
Canal.
so interesting is you hate fishing. You don't like any of that, and so why? You didn't have any of that stuff.
I understand, but I just felt more at home in interaction. I liked it. I just did.
Okay.
So, anyway, how did we get on that?
Well, we have.
We got Elwin. We got Elwin on the phone. He had that explanation. Hey, Elwin, you know All Things Legal. What you got for us, brother?
Hey, man, they should outlaw domicile, because you have a person staying in your house with you, and you have to go and pay some money and put them on the peace bond, and then it's also they can do vandalism to your house, and they can get away with it. If you're taking in friends and they act unruly and you call the police, the police does not get involved with it, and then you have to go to court. I mean, they should outlaw that. They should outlaw domicile, because it's totally wrong, to tell you the truth. If they come here and tear up your house, then you're responsible for the damages, and they get away with it.
Well, but yeah, domicile has a lot of other, like for voting, for determining where succession would be filed. But you bring up a point that happens very often. You'd hear I've had situations where, hey, I went to Jazz Fest, met a nice gal or my guy. He came and lived with me or stayed with me for a month or two, and the owner of the house says, "Get out." I said, "No, you gotta evict me." So that is an issue. If you do invite a person to stay with you, at a certain point, there's a certain point, and it's up to a judge or police or whoever, be it 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, that they say, we can't force them. The police said, we can't force them to leave. You have to get an eviction. Now, maybe one rule of thumb is where you keep your toothbrush.
Yeah,
they
use that for reconciliation.
Right. If they keep their toothbrush at your home and it's been there a while, they're probably going to have to evict them. Now, if he's got a toothbrush somewhere else and maintains a residence somewhere else, then you can make the argument that he's just a visitor.
But that to the police officer, you have to make that to the judge.
Both. Yeah. Both. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying they should have that should be against the law. I mean, if they're tearing up your house and then they leave, that's vandalism.
Well, if they tear up your house, a criminal charge against them. Yeah.
But let's say it this way: if they're going out of town and they left, okay, who you gonna press charges against? They didn't left already.
Right. Well.
So it's 6 one way, half a dozen another. But I think it should be something. It should be outlawed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think anytime someone commits a crime and they leave and they're not available, they cannot obviously be charged until they are found and cited. Now, if they theoretically tear up your house and then they're able to file charges, criminal damage to property, you could also sue them civilly for the value of the property. And the other alternative.
Suppose they don't have.
Yeah, I know.
Suppose they don't have any money. Suppose they don't have anything.
That's what landlords deal with.
Then you got a problem, and that's a tenant has to deal with, and the landlord has to deal with. I mean, look.
Well, I represent a lot of landlords, and most of them don't collect their damages that are caused by the tenants who mess up their property, because.
But then you have to, and they have to pay for the damages.
Yeah. Well, that's a problem. I mean, but you're ultimately responsible for the damages as a tenant.
Right. You're also responsible, but I mean, you're also responsible, but I mean, at the same time, I mean, it should be outlawed. I mean, to me, it's against the law, and it should not be. It should not even be. Well, I mean, if they stay with you and they're good people, then that's something different. But if they stay with you and they want to tear up your house, say if you get in an argument or something and they decide to set fire to your house or burn up or tear up anything in your house, I mean.
But when they say they outlawed that is outlawed. The issue is, in the case that you're referring to, is that they're gone and you can't find them.
That's the issue. If you can't find them, then who are you going to press charges against?
Right.
So I mean. Yeah. I mean, I have called the police. I knew from high school. I've been knowing him since elementary, and he brought in a friend, and the friend did the damage, but he didn't do anything, but he took up with the friend. So that made you the out because you took him in. I mean, it should be a law against that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
Because I mean, you can't go around tearing up other people's house and and doing what you want in other people's house.
Right. No, and I mean, I think the issue you're talking about is you can't find the guy who did it, and that your friend can't. That's the tough part. Well, Elvin, appreciate it. I'd say in these situations, you write your legislator, have a meeting with them, and tell them the issue. They're the ones who ultimately make the laws. Thanks for the call, Elwin. let's go to text. We have some
No, I think you said it.
text. Okay, maybe you can buzz me when I say it. Let's go to the text, which people like to text me as much about sports as they do law.
They do.
That's either a testament to my knowledge of sports or they're my lawyer abilities. All right, let's see. LSU's baseball coach needs to stop changing pitchers so much. Stop putting in pitch hitters who strike out. All the players must be mad at him, I would think. You don't have until he had to knit this pitching together. I mean, he didn't have any starting pitchers. Now, one thing I will tell you.
Why didn't he have any starting pitchers?
Good question. I think when LSU recruits, they recruit arms and try to turn them into pitchers. In other words, when I say arms, pitchers who can throw. Now,
okay.
Unlike USM, they didn't have the arms, the throwers that LSU had. They were like 80 miles an hour, high 80s.
Okay.
But there's a difference between throwing and pitching. These throwers who could throw the ball 98 miles an hour didn't pitch well. And there's a difference.
So they can throw it fast, but they really don't know how to do pitch, like curveballs.
Right. There's two different skills. You can throw hard, but if you throw it 98 miles an hour right down the middle,
they're going to hit it.
They're gonna. It's just going to get out the park faster.
Right.
Where pitchers know how to spot the ball. They don't give a lot of good pitches to hit. And so one of the greatest pitchers in Major League history is Greg Maddux. He only threw 83 miles an hour at the end of their career. I mean, you got high school pitchers who just knew how to pitch.
So it's not really the speed so much as
it's really about movement. It's about movement and placement. And if you don't have movement and placement, that's why Mikael Hilliard was their best starting pitcher. He didn't throw 88, 89 miles an hour, but he had some movement.
Right.
A good pitcher, he's probably a Sunday pitcher for the SEC. He's not a first-day pitcher, and that's why they struggle. Second, you see, I get all these sports questions. Let's get back to it.
They talked about the Saints, too.
Yeah, they said I said from the very beginning, the Saints didn't need explicitive like Watson. I can't say the word he was going to say. So I don't like Winston either because of the allegations at FSU. I will say this about Jameis Winston. You do some stupid things, especially if you're a quarterback. And he did some bad things. Like, I'm glad they didn't have Twitter and Facebook when I was 21 because I would have probably been very embarrassing to some of the things I've done. But he scored a lot. And from a lot of different sources. He went back to FSU, got a college degree, been exemplary with the Saints, has not been a problem at all. He's been, and I believe that, like a lot of young people, they have the ability to mature. Some don't, and some don't. And I think and I feel I'm not worried about maturity with him. I just, it'll be a performance issue. Third text is, LSU already has two good quarterbacks. They may have good quarterbacks, but we'll see.
Which one?
No, well, I mean, the one from Arizona State. We watched him a couple of years ago when we were in Arizona, actually. And he's more of a runner thrower. Miles Brennan is your classic drop back passer. But I think the best overall player is Nussmeier. I think he has it. I hope we can keep him.
We don't know who's going to start.
We don't. I think it might be a 2-quarterback system. Next question. What is the odds of Brian Kelly getting LSU to the Final Four? What is CFP college playoff?
For this year?
I would put less than 5%.
Okay. What about for next year?
Don't know.
Don't know.
It's too far ahead. All right. And I tell you what, let's take a break and we'll go through the legal text. Got the sports text out the way. We'll go through the legal text. next after this brief time out on All Things Legal.
When you listen to Scoot, you're listening to rock and roll history.
Today in 1970 was on this day in 1990. I'll never forget the way I felt the morning.
Scoot's rock culture calendar has everything you remember.
Okay, I have no one holding at the moment.
Concert appearances to personal tragedies. He comes
this record on the air for the first time and knowing it was going to be a huge hit.
It's a perspective on the history of rock you can't get anywhere else from someone who's lived it.
Honestly, I'm lucky to be alive.
Scoot on the air, weekdays 1 to 4 on WWL.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-859-3220 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. Don't buy plastic toys for your pet. Instead, look for natural materials like cotton, rope, wood, or bamboo. Join Odyssey, and together each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Since 1979, we've been providing safe professional service. And right now, we're taking all professional steps as well as all state and CDC measures to give you the best, safest experience possible. For fast, safe relief, call Keith. And now, electrical.
For fast relief, call Keith.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. Pests in Louisiana are as unique as our state, and you need experience to keep the pests away. Termites are responsible for more than $1 billion of damage in Louisiana alone. J&J Exterminating has over 55 years home safe. Trust J&J Exterminating to shield your home, business, and property 365 days a year with 100% satisfaction guarantee.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
Looking for the perfect gift of jewelry that will always remind her of you? May we suggest
His name is Jimmy from Gretna, and it's hurricane related.
as well as all the latest collections from David Yurman, Penny Prevost, Mikimoto Pearls, and Marco Bichigo. Or how about an exclusive Oakwood heart design from our award-winning master craftsman? Take her breath away. Have her singing There's a Great Work of Art on Metairie Road.
Are you a business owner doing your own?
Okay, this is the last spot. Jimmy is the caller. He's from Gretna, and it's Hurricane Ida related.
Like growing your business and let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Fontes. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com.
All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nicaud and Sunseri now. Talk and text line 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, All Things Legal. Before we go to Jimmy from Gretna, we got a couple of texts on our last caller.
So we have a text, and it was a one. And basically, the texter said essentially that don't let people you don't know or trust or have any money stay in your house, and that it's the responsibility of those who you. It's your responsibility if you let somebody come in your house to then be responsible for their actions.
There you go. So we've got a little different viewpoint there.
And one more.
Yes.
It says, if my sister dies, I get the kids. Is it difficult to relocate them to my state to raise them? And I needed a little bit more facts, but if there is no other parent, you're still going to have to get a court order to move children from their home state. You have to do what's called a relocation. And there are different factors at the state that the courts look at, but you do have to go through the relocation process to be able to move them.
All There you go. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Jimmy from Gretna, the home of Mel Ott, John Forcade, Alfred Payton, Greg Monroe. Man.
Yeah.
Should I stop
Awesome.
there? Ike Taylor?
And Jimmy.
Yeah, man.
And Jimmy. And Jimmy's the most famous one, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you. No, so, I've called before and, I put a claim in. They gave me the runaround. They sent me a $1 check. And then I don't know why they did that. I don't know if they were just spiting me or something.
I think they were rebating your. If the company is it out of Florida?
Yes.
That was a policy rebate. They miscalculated your premium. So
okay.
So you can retire now.
Did they send everybody a dollar?
With the inflation.
Yeah, we got our dollar.
We got our dollar?
Yeah.
Oh.
It would be great. Yeah, with this inflation. Yeah, no, okay, so then I'm going through the litigation process. My question to you is this. If the litigation process goes beyond the 1-year anniversary of Hurricane Ida, what's the statute of limitations? Is there, or once you open the case, it's open?
No,
is that how it works?
Once you file a lawsuit, you got 2 years to file a lawsuit from 2021. So you got to August 29th, 2023 to file a lawsuit. Once you file a lawsuit, the clock stops and you're preserved. Now, where's your case? Is it in Jefferson Parish? Is it in federal court? Where is it?
No, it's not. It hasn't even gotten to that point yet.
Okay, you hadn't filed suit. You have to file suit 29th, 2023. So you got plenty of time.
Okay. And so it's 1 year, though, to put a claim in with your insurance if you have a storm, whether it be UPC or anyone else? Is that how it works?
Well, a lot of policies saying that you have 6 months to file a claim. But that's the policy says that. And actually that's a good point. We had a case where the insured died. And so by the time we got the succession, we got someone appointed, it was more than 6 months after the hurricane, and we have the insurance company, you filed your claim too late. Now, I don't think they're not going to win on that, but there is a provision in policy that you have to give them file a claim within 6 months. Now,
okay, am I fine? Okay, go ahead.
But I don't think whether that's enforceable by the court or not is, but you have to file a lawsuit for sure within 2 years if your case has not been settled.
I feel good. I got the ball rolling with the litigation, although it's slow. I got all of my information in with the lawyer. They came and sent their people out to document my house. They found more issues.
Sure.
The question is that, I think we got a good case. So my final question to you is this. Right now with homeowners insurance policies being dropped a lot in Louisiana and whatnot, and it's this time of season, it's hard. It's easier probably to get a homeowners insurance policy written up in December than it is right before hurricane season in general for some companies, because it's riskier this time of year. But my question to you is this. Okay, so I put a claim in against UPC. I've had them for a long time. This is my first claim ever. And now I'm basically hired a lawyer to go against them in a way to try to get money from them because they did, as you could say. Is it normal to re-up with an insurance company even though you have litigation with them?
Absolutely.
And if so, Doug, what happens if another storm comes and it adds on to damage that you're already litigating over that still isn't?
Well, it
kind of becomes like a...
Yeah, those are two different questions. I would say whatever gives you the best coverage for the best price, that's who you up with. And if that happened to be UPC, go ahead and do that. Now, if there's an issue regarding unrepaired work from the prior hurricane, that'll give you the money to repair it. And it becomes, you get additional damage. It's hard for the insurance company to claim that you should have fixed it when they didn't give you the money to fix it to begin with. So that's a factual issue, and that does happen. And, because the policy says you have a duty to mitigate your damages. So if you have a compromised roof, you have the duty to mitigate those damages. But if the insurance company doesn't pay for those damages, where does that fall? And that's a very interesting issue that the insurance company takes the position, well, whether we gave you the money or not, you were supposed to mitigate your damages. You didn't do it. On the policyholder side, we say, nope, you didn't pay for the damages, and the fact that those damages were unrepaired, it caused more damage. You're still on the hook under a new claim. So that's sort of the two considerations that butt heads. All right, Jimmy, my man. Well, good luck on your claim, and we hope it gets it resolved. I'll tell you what. I think it'd be a good time to take a break. What do you think? Let's take a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
WWL.com has everything you're looking for in a trusted local news website. There's no paywall, no annoying pop-up ads. Just the information.
Okay, phone is clear at the moment.
Check out our in-depth coverage of big local and national stories. Plus
We have Babel on the short one after that.
We've got your favorite. Check out interviews, blogs, and hot takes. Plus, WWL.com works great on phones and tablets. No need to go to those other guys' websites anymore. Check out WWL.com today.
We're feeling a little nostalgic. Remember the classic jingle? There's a great work of art in every box from Oakwood. No. It's why Gambit readers once again voted us best local jeweler. And it's why you have to shop Oakwood Heart. Just listen to this online review from Josh. Oakwood Heart is the only place to go. Full stop. I'll be back for any future jewelry purchases. Oakwood Heart rocks. Pun intended. See? New Orleans is authentic. In our culture, being local and honest still counts for something. So does offering finer jewelry at better prices. Shocking, but true. Here in our Metairie showroom, we create an enormous selection of beautiful jewelry in every price range, for engagements and every one of life's special moments. And don't forget Just Because. Big on Just Because. Celebrate the best thing that ever happened to you with a gift from the city's best local jeweler, Oakwood Heart on Metairie Road.
This is Kevin Mamahat. For over 20 years, we've coated thousands of homes and businesses just like yours with Rhino Shield. From Mobile to Lake Charles and every point in between. Rhino Shield is a revolutionary ceramic coating that comes with a 25-year warranty. And it's perfect for wood, brick, stucco, hardy board, and vinyl. Give us a call for a free estimate. 504-407-2222. 407-2222. Or visit rhinoshield.com. Listen, here's the bottom line with Rhino Shield. You'll never have to paint your home or business again. Guaranteed. Rhino Shield is formulated for the Gulf Coast climate. It resists mold and fading, and it's more affordable than you think. So call now for your free estimate. 504-407-2222 or visit rhinoshieldmidsouth.com. That's rhinoshieldmidsouth.com.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Security is knowing that your payment was processed, your check deposited, your business handled. At Home Bank, we offer the technology you need wherever you are. So go on, roam, wander. You have the freedom. With Home Bank's mobile app and account notifications, you'll never have to wonder what's happening with your money. We have the tech you expect and the service you deserve. For over 114 years, we've been good for business, good for life. Home Bank, member FDIC.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to get conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to...
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you'll be speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México y hablamos español. Gracias, Babbel. Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com.
Hey everyone, I'm Ron Darling.
And I'm live after this one.
The official baseball rulebook is full of all sorts of strange rules.
But the unwritten rulebook is even weirder.
We each come from different eras and we each were taught to play the game in different ways.
In this new podcast series, we're going to break down all of the unwritten rules that govern the game, from throwing out a batter to stealing bases during a blowout.
Check out Unwritten from Odyssey and MLB. New episodes start June 1st.
Find it on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All things legal on WWLAMFM.com and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, all things legal. Michelle, if anybody wants to call you in the North Shore, what's the phone number in God Country?
985-624.
In God Country in Mandeville,
where
city services work, crimes at a minimum.
All the time.
Prosecutors prosecute criminals.
All the time.
Yep. And traffic lights work.
We have roundabouts in some places.
Roundabouts and safety. Yes. Trash gets picked up. And if you have a politician who doesn't follow up on that, they get thrown out of office.
They do.
Instead of voted back in.
They do.
Like that place is about 30 miles from us, south of us. It's my little shot at the at city service. Could be the greatest city on the face of the earth. I mean, we have such a beautiful city, and the people who caretake for this, the ones in charge, just do such a rotten and horrible job.
That's like we were in Annapolis.
Makes me sick.
We were in Annapolis 2 weekends ago. We're talking to the girl who's a sandwich shop.
The Big Cheese.
She had just gotten back from New Orleans, and she was talking about it was actually her third time there, and she was so shocked this time at the amount of homelessness and the amount of trash and just what the city looked like. And
it's not governed. We have the most beautiful, unique city in North America, and if we cleaned it up and just did a few, we didn't have, if nothing else, a little police protection, have schools that are, interested in teaching about math, science, and things that you can do for a living instead of things that aren't going to help you make a living. And we would be okay. Just, if the mayor would just get from her desk, hiding from all the real issues and trying to deal with pretend issues, which he
got Dan from Metairie.
So there you go. But how did we get on that?
I don't
know. I just ran it on that. Let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to Dan the man. Hey, how you doing, Dan?
I'm very interested in what are the rights of children. What are the rights of elderly? Do I control my own money?
That's a good question.
Control where I live?
That's a good question.
What about me in the old folks' home?
Well, when you don't have to...
Hey, listen, I'm not talking about me, though. My children are treating me great, but I was just thinking, what happened to other people who don't live in the circumstances that I'm perfectly happy like I am, but I look at some of my friends and say, man, what's going to happen to these people when they're older than they are?
Well,
real.
That's a very good question. From a legal perspective, a person has control over their decisions in absence of an interdiction.
Right.
And an interdiction is when a court proceeding, when you get declared as without any legal rights. You have someone who is basically has authority over your legal rights, and a threshold is whether you have the cognitive capacity to understand decisions that you make.
Right, and it's as to your health care and to your estate, your financial decisions.
So, the most famous interdiction proceeding, which has probably made half the law in the books right now, is the Tom Benson interdiction.
Yeah.
And, and obviously, one of the things that's hard about these issues is we are living longer. And 8 years old, man, you sound great.
Yep.
And
thank you.
But what happens is when you do live longer, your mind does, diminish in its capacity to work. It's just.
Well, I noticed that.
Yeah.
I admit to that.
And the hard part is when, what's the threshold with periodic bouts of, dementia or, versus where you just can't where you're a danger to yourself and others, or you're unable to understand the consequences of your decisions. And a lot of times, children have a hard time, with that threshold, because the biggest thing is, okay, when do I take the keys away from mom and dad? When do I put them in an assisted living home? Those are the issues.
Yes.
That are difficult to
Well, I
grapple
want to know
with.
the other side of that. I want to know the other side of that, Doug. What control do I have? Suppose they come to me and say, "Hey, Dan, we're tired of your old ass code. We're going to throw you over here in so-and-so home." And I said, "Man, I don't want to do that. I want to die in my own house or something."
Well, as long
Would
as
I have any control over that?
Yes, as long as you have the cognitive capacity to understand your own decisions. Yes, and that does happen a lot. Like, they are their parents to be in assisted living, and the parents say no.
Yes.
No, I don't want to. I think what happens is you'll have events. Usually that threshold is if you find a parent who's wandering the neighborhood, or they've left the stove on 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's when you start saying maybe the threshold is we have to have an interdiction. It's basically if they become
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I recently lost my car keys. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't drive anymore, and I know it's a good thing for me.
Right.
It's not a good idea to drive around the country when you can't see too well. But my children and my grandchildren all love me. They treat me great. They treat my wife great. And but I was just wondering about other people. What is, suppose I was another condition where I was barely and all that BS. What would they do? They just throw me in a home
I think it
somewhere?
has less to do with financial and more to do with whether you can manage your life. And I think a lot of times, a lot of things that happen is that you don't have, you leave in personal hygiene, you're wandering the neighborhood, you're insisting on getting in the car when you're not able to car, and you're providing a danger to other people. Those are the situations where we litigate over whether the person should be interdicted or not, and maybe even against that person's will.
Against your will, how far does that go?
Well, if those are the factors they look at, can you manage your life? And a lot of, even say, well, I can manage I just need a little help. Be it, I have somebody come in, 3 or 4 times a week to help me with certain things. And either from a cognitive standpoint or physical standpoint or both, they're unable to manage their life. It's not the legal term, but that's the practical effect. Or they don't have the cognitive capacity to understand what they're doing. For example, there's more cases of financial exploitation of the elderly than there is child abuse.
Yes.
Because they have people, solicitors, who people knock on the doors, and we've had situations where we've had elderly people who have sort of in advanced stages of dementia, giving money to strangers.
Oh yeah,
and
I'm up there and have those people as friends.
and they give them.
What happened to old Joe? Well, he's so I'm very fortunate that I don't have that yet.
Yeah,
but I'm 88, as you say. It could be tomorrow.
And we've seen situations where you might have an elderly man, or I don't want to be, or the other way, elderly lady, where a younger person comes in and moves in with them, and they have a certain relationship, and all of a sudden money's flowing to that person. And so
I've seen it.
Yeah. So, but that's part of the fact that we're living. When we live long, our mind still has a natural, I guess, progression that where we have a natural diminished capacity of our mind, and when it gets to the certain point where you just don't understand what you're doing, danger to others on a consistent basis, that's when the courts can step in and say, we need to take control of this, because you may hurt yourself or you may hurt others, or you're not able to properly, care for yourself. And so a lot of situations.
Well, lucky I have a good attorney.
Yes, yeah, Dan. Whatever you want to do, we're gonna make sure you stay in your house as long as you want, brother. Oh, you got another 5 or 10 years on this earth, man. What are we talking about? You're gonna make 100.
Only if I'm unlucky.
Huh?
Only if I'm unlucky. Sometimes it looks good on the other side.
I think when it looks better on the other side than this side, that's when a lot of people say, "All right, it's time to go."
Yeah, it just depends what
Yes,
day of the week it is.
indeed.
That's it. Well, those are very good questions, Dan. And if I would just take the tapes from all your calls and say, look at him, he's doing fine. In fact, he still tells a good dirty joke. So he,
Say, call Doug.
All right, my man.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks.
Thank you, pal. It's a pleasure, and I hope I help somebody.
All right. Thanks much. Dan was a Korean War veteran, too. We got to salute that, man. If it wasn't for our veterans,
oh, I know,
we would not be here. We would be, we'd be speaking another language. That's right. For sure.
That is so right.
And they're great. We thank you, veterans, all the time. All right, let's go to our final break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest. We will be right back after this brief comment.
Celebrating a century of broadcasting. For 100 years, WWL Radio has been here for you when it matters most. Here's another moment in history.
2020. Okay, we're going to have about a little over 6 minutes to the top of the hour, end of the show.
Around the globe after the death of George Floyd at the hands of Minneapolis police.
Have,
a little over 6 minutes.
Protesters in New Orleans marching through the city night after night. Cops on the Crescent City connection.
At the head of the crowd, organizers were trying to tell them. The crowd responded by demanding to cross the bridge, and they locked arms and pushed their way through, to which NOPD responded with tear gas, and bedlam ensued.
It led to new policies on tear gas and rubber bullets.
This moment in history brought to you by Acme Oyster House and StormDamageCompensation.com.
This is your Louisiana Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry, Dr. Mike Strain. Everyone wants a taste of Louisiana, and it doesn't get more flavorful than when you cook with certified Louisiana products. I certify Louisiana seals and manufactured and distributed in Louisiana. Louisiana certified products are found in grocery stores, farmers markets, and restaurants throughout our great state. And when you buy local, the dollars grow locally. Certify a great cooking experience. Look for the seals and buy certified Louisiana products.
What will put you and your love on? It's Diamonds Direct's most amazing offer this year. Right now, for a limited time on any purchase, get the best price, pay nothing down, and get 5 years zero-interest financing. If you've been swooning over that $5,000 designer ring, right now it's only $85 a month. $3,000 diamond studs.
Okay, we have Big Lou, and then
financing event exclusively at Diamonds Direct. Get details and more at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit. We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. Don't buy plastic toys for your pet. Instead, look for natural materials like cotton, rope, wood, or bamboo. Join Odyssey, and together each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 475-2323.
LA 121-12674. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Call 475-2323.
Hey, Slidell, we want your stuff. DependableStorage.com. Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on the old mail. Maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes. $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes or blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-8220. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember,
we'll make it about
Big
7
Lou's
minutes.
like you.
He's on meds too. For affordable term life, call 800-859-3220. We're all on this
Here we go.
together. So join Odyssey and find your one that rings and reduce your use of plastic to help keep it out of our waterways and oceans. Join Odyssey, and together each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nicaud and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinion shared are for Nicaud and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, All Things Legal. You can call us at our law firm at 504-837-1304, 504-837-1304. Michelle on the North Shore.
On the North Shore, it's 985-624-9697.
And that one's all right. We gave you a break from Hurricane Ida questions this week because we've been talking about it for 9 months now. But we do have a text. Did I say that right? Text. All right. Hurricane Ida. Insurance deductible is about $8,000, is about $2,000 for small items. Did not mention roof damage. Have two estimates for roof repairs, about $5,000. If don't get an estimate over the deductible, is there advantage or disadvantage of reporting the roof damage? First of all, I don't know of a roof that would be replaced for less than $5,000. So I guess I would check to make sure a replacement versus a repair, because most of the roofs that are in the path of hurricane probably may need a replacement, or you cannot determine whether you need a replacement without getting someone up there lifting shingles, and we've been through that 9 months ago. But I think it's a good idea just to report it, because a lot of times what happens is you'll find additional damage later that you didn't know. And I know, and if you didn't report it and you have another area of damage you're saying that you didn't discover before, you may be precluded from asserting that. So
you're talking about like damage, like for the underneath.
Yeah, you might have insulation. You might go in an area along and you see water stains and you see bubbling and that sort of thing. So I would go ahead and just report it, so that keeps your options open. That if you identify additional damages, you have a claim.
Right, it can't hurt.
It cannot hurt. So I would do that. We probably have, I guess the firm's probably 400 or 500 claims that we have so far, and the mediation process,
which is good.
We settle 95% of these in mediation. It's very rare that we don't. And even if you don't, we had one Friday we don't, but we're going to reconvene again because we just had to get additional information. But it's a very, very interesting, I think the court, St. Tammany Parish, Orleans Parish, New Orleans Federal Court, some of the judges have that, where they're telling the parties, if you file suit, y'all mediate right away. And I've had a couple of suits on roofs only where the insurance company ignored. We filed suit. As soon as we filed suit, when the attorneys were involved, they just paid it off, and they even paid a little extra money on one to pay for the cost. So, a lot of the companies have not dealt with your claim because they do not have the personnel to do it, and they're just putting out fires all day. Have a practice that they implement to make you jump through a bunch of hoops before they'll deal with your claim to the full extent. But once we get into litigation, we go into the mediations, and the judges are ordering, y'all meet, get it done. And if you can't get it done, see me after that. And it's been very successful. And I think a lot of people are talking about, well, should I hire a claims public adjuster? And it may sound self-serving, but I think that ship has sailed because there's not an enforcement mechanism against the insurance companies.
Yeah, they can only help you try to resolve it.
They can only quantify your damages. Right. But I think, again, the insurance companies understand that, especially the claims that were handled poorly, that most of the jurors had hurricane claims and frustrations. A lot of judges do. So there's not going to be a lot of sympathy if you get to the next level, in front of the courts, because a lot of what they have done has been inexcusable, and they're not going to get the benefit of the doubt on a lot of these issues. We encountered a situation this week where, clients is a window issue. They're saying that they get an engineering report that says the windows had been leaking long before the hurricane, so we're not going to pay. And the insurance company's engineers say that, and the clients are going to say it never had a leak. There's no evidence that it leaked. And that's what I was saying. I said, if you think you could get a forensic engineer to say that my clients are lying and saying it never leaked before, well, good luck. Right. Good luck on selling that one to a judge or jury. But they like I say in football, if you have LSU playing, LSU should win, but Slippery Rock's going to still get up there and play defense on you, and then they're going to try to beat you. Right. And they may put up a defense that you'll look at and say, "Man, I can't." It's a defense, but we're going to run over it. And so, it's on some certain
stuff to get in the game.
But you have to get in the game. You have to put your helmet on, and you're going to have to bang heads.
Right.
And it's a determination. A lot of one insurance company, and I don't want to say who it is, but Aaron Rodgers and Chris Paul may have that insurance. But some insurance companies have an attitude: we're not going to deal with you until litigation, right or wrong, good or bad. This is not a commercial for lawyers. It's just the way that's their corporate philosophy.
But I don't really understand that because it costs more.
No, it doesn't, because their computation is that more claims will fall off than go to litigation. That more people will throw their hands up and say, no, I'm not going to go that. And that the extra cost of litigation outweighs the claims that fall off that they don't pursue. That's their corporate philosophy.
Got a minute.
And that's what and I'm saying this anecdotally. I don't have a meeting or anything like that. I'm just saying anecdotally, if you looked at the lawsuits that we have filed so far, majority of them, or probably more than 30 or 40% of them, was from one group. Okay. But that's their corporate philosophy. You're not going to change it.
Right.
So you have to get in litigation. You have to bang heads. Right. Well, Michelle, thank you for
setting up in this
cave in Birmingham. I love to run around Birmingham and go Tigers, go Tigers. Get everybody upset here. So, especially if they're wearing red and they got an elephant on their shirt. So we'll be back next. Y'all have a wonderful week. Stay cool and stay dry.
The news.
All right, you can go upstairs. It's gonna take me a few minutes to disconnect. All right. I can be. The only thing Dominic has is these wire ties that put the wires all in order. See, I was able to get this modem. I was wondering how they got the.
You took the camera off, huh?